back again with another video. I'm Rick Reza, and here we are now driving the Isuzu D-Max 1.9 Premium. This is essentially the 2020 model for Malaysia, in that it's still based on the RT50 series of Isuzu's pickup truck chassis. This is the second generation of their current pickup truck chassis. They have actually just launched the third generation Isuzu D-Max over in Thailand in October of 2019 last year, but most places still have this current model, this second generation model, which they had actually launched back in 2011 or so, if I'm not mistaken. I've been driving this for quite a while, doing a lot of normal errands and all. You're talking about a lot of what most people end up buying the pickup truck these days, driving it normally around town and on highways and all. So far it's quite good in terms of refinement levels. I think the turbodiesel engine, the 1.9 liter, is quite a gem in some ways. It's small. 1.9 liter is quite small capacity and all. 150 horsepower, PS, 350 Newton meters of torque, and in this premium variant, it has a 6-speed automatic transmission with plus minus manual modes for you to play around with, if you're interested in doing it manually, of course. There's also the usual 4 low, 4 high, 2-wheel drive mode. It's switchable on the fly with below certain speeds, like usual, and it's basically, it has most of the functions and all. But you bear in mind, this is only for certain markets like Malaysia and a few other countries. We still get this second gen Isuzu D-Max, but with this new 1.9 liter engine, this newer 1.9 liter engine. So it's quite a good change and all, in terms of countries where road tax is where they measure road tax based on the cubic centimeters cc of the engine. So it's quite good here. 1.9 liters only, save a lot of road tax and all, and it still gives you 350 Newton meters. So anyway, let's talk about the exterior. You get their daytime driving lights and all. Still quite current and all. I mean, it's a pickup truck. This is as current as you can get. Of course, the newer one has a bit more sharper edges and all in its styling. This is still slightly a bit softer in terms of its edges and all. Still quite edgy in terms of overall design. Anyway, things like the exterior wise, you get 18-inch alloy wheels, nice big fat tires. Surprisingly, talking about road noise, I think they are very tolerable within the limits of this dual purpose, not fully off-road tires and all. It works very well, so it's all okay. In terms of exterior looks, nothing to shout about, nothing to really complain. I'm fine with it. In terms of interior wise, okay, before we start getting to the performance aspect, let's talk about all of this interior and all these sort of things. Usual bits of plastics seems to be quite okay. The car seems to be fitted out with normal hard plastics, SUV and all, but it's got little bits of like leather trim here and there to make it look like even there's a lot of storage space up here above the middle center console. There's instrument class, the infotainment system. There's also another storage bin here. There's a storage bin. There's a glove box. There's also a secondary glove box on top. There's also the sunglass holder. There are also bottle holders in each of the pockets. Also 2 here for to hold your cups and all, your coffee cups and all, or more. So 6 cup holders and all. So they're all fine and all in terms of storage space. Of course, there's no boot since it's a pickup truck. You must note on that point. So in terms of that, it's fine. In terms of ergonomics wise, in terms of how you're driving and sitting in the position in the car, it's quite okay. Steering wheel seems nice. The position I'm sitting in is quite nice. I have not much complaints. Gear shift all feels tactile. Leather wrap here, nicely textured plastics here. The seats are half leather, fabric and leather, which I think I like, because the fabric actually gives you a lot of grip in terms of most situation, and it doesn't get hot, especially when it's parked under the sun. So this premium model does it right in many ways. They're talking about certain cues and all. The infotainment system is an 8-inch touchscreen Android based system, so you can connect it to your smartphones to get the Wi-Fi, to get continuous data stream into it and all. Connectivity seems to be good, Bluetooth and all these sort of things. Aircon function is all in this circle shape and all. Everything is just touch and all, so it's quite nice. Gear shift has shift lock, as I said, 4 high, 4 low, and very simple to operate and all. The only complaint I think of this car is the design of the center console and the footrest, because when I rest my foot on the footrest in my driving position, bear in mind it's my driving position, it could be not yours for somebody like me, my knee, just below my knee, tends to sit on there's this curve where the cigarette lighter is, or the 12-volt socket is. Here there's a cigarette lighter thingy. There's a depression here, a bump, a curve downwards here, where it actually sits on right on my knee cap or slightly below my kneecap when I rest my foot on the footrest. Since it's a automatic transmission, it tends to do that. You have to rest your left foot, doesn't do anything basically. So when it rests, it tends to actually sit just under that change, the way it flows downwards. So I would prefer it if it was straighter and I had more of the support in my knee area here. So what I usually do is end up putting my foot to the right of the footrest and all. So for me, that is the only flaw I have, but this is subjective, depends on your drive, how you set your seats, how high your seat can goes up. Yeah, the seat's fully adjustable, manual, bear in mind, no automatic seat adjustments and all. The rear seats are quite good in the point that I like the recline angle. It's comfortable enough for someone to sit behind you. You're carrying lots of people and all, it's okay. So it's nice, it's not too harsh or too straight up. All in all, interior, I'm happy with it, except for that small thing which I'm kind of used to it after driving it for a few days already. So in terms of drivability and performance, which is why most of you like to hear, it's one of the nicer pickup trucks in the sense that it's quite old school in many ways. I like how when you first get in and drive the car, you find that the steering wheel has a meatiness to it. There's a certain meatiness to it which you get used to after a while, of course. But I like in terms of weighting, how it feels when you turn the thing, how much pressure you put. It tends to be on the heavy side before you get used to it, which is a nice thing because it adds to that feeling of heft and solidity, which this car definitely feels. It rides also, it has a certain way it rides, it holds onto the road. The springs, while Isuzu says that they're soft for ride comfort and all, I think they're still quite on the heavy duty side. So which means that this pickup truck is really meant for doing a lot of heavy duty work, of course. Now in terms of ride on the highways, it does tend to be a little bit nuggety at lower speeds. When you get, say, above 60 kilometers per hour like I'm on now, I'm on the Federal Highway in around PJ side, Route 1. So basically, you tend to feel that under around 60 and below, it tends to be a bit nuggety on certain points of view where you can feel the ripples and all. But that being said, this is a pickup truck. It's supposed to carry up to 1,000 kilos from. In fact, Isuzu Malaysia has recently tested this D-Max where it carried 1,000 kilos. They tested even on the simpler base model, in fact, the one with the white body, black bumpers, and more commercial, the commercial variant. 1,000 kilos going 1,000 kilometers on a single tank of diesel, and also going up to over 1,000 meters in terms of above sea level. So they went up all the way to Fraser's Hill and all. So the D-Max can perform very well in terms of carrying capacity and also performance. In terms of engine, I like it. It's a bit clattery. You can know that there's not much soundproofing. I think if you're talking about competitors in terms of soundproofing, I would say the new Ford Ranger is a little bit quieter. The new current Hilux is also a little bit quieter. But in terms of overall feel, how it drives, I like this one in that it does have that. It does not. You do not need to be reminded that it's a truck in some ways. It's easy to drive. While it's easy to drive, easy to maneuver in and around town, it's still big. It's not. It doesn't feel as big as, say, maybe even a Ford Ranger Wild Track. It feels slightly smaller, slightly more agile around town. Surprisingly, even with the weightier steering wheel. So, and the beefier feeling suspension. So I kind of like how Isuzu has set up this truck in terms of overall on the road driving. Now, that being said, it's, you know, that it's a heavy duty ride and all, which I kind of like. It makes me feel a bit more driving something a little more solid, a little more macho in some ways and all. It's a very old school in some ways, something which I miss nowadays with a lot of people doing electric power steering, which tends to be super light when you fiddle around with the steering wheel and all. So this has weight. This has, of course, you're talking about feel, not much feel, but in terms of, say, when you're taking a corner and all, I like it because it's got that neutral feel when you on the initial turn in. Understeer only isn't that prevalent in certain things, like you're talking about sweeping corners and all. Yeah, you feel it maybe above 80 kilometers per hour, but it's still very good. It still like allows you to say, oh, it's quite neutral, understeer, then it only understeer. So I like how Isuzu has set up this pickup truck in terms of how it corners. 6-speed automatic gearbox is actually quite good. Coupled with the 350 Newton meters of torque, it actually allows you to power the car sufficiently along the highway. So in terms of the safety features, this car has traction control, stability, the usual stability controls, ABS, EBD. So in terms of all the braking and normal safety features in most modern cars with airbags and all, it has the minimum required and all. In terms of engine performance, I've gotten about 8.8 liters per 100 km. I've been getting it even in city driving and letting the car idle for quite a while. Bad for the environment, but I have to do it because I was testing the car. 8.8 liters per 100 km. Did over 100 km one stretch, and it still shows like, I think I still got a hell of a lot of diesel in the tank. Amazing on these diesels nowadays, which also says that this is one of the pickup trucks with EEV certification, energy efficient vehicle certification from the Malaysian government. So it does quite a lot. Let's do a kick down. Speed is gathered quite constantly. It's like a rolling, like a snowball, slowly gathering momentum and all, getting bigger and bigger and faster. So it has enough poke. Now we are at traffic light and we're going to give it the booty. Gear shifts down nicely. I'm into the corner. Brakes are nice and firm. Yeah, there's a bit of clattering and all. I can feel I can hear the clattering and all. But in terms of overall acceleration and all, it's more than adequate in most situations. Of course, people say they want pulling power. This car has pulling power. I would say, from what I feel, 1900 onwards, you give it the full throttle, you give it the throttle, it will go. So pulling power is good. In terms of back to right quality, it gets better when you put 4 people, when you have 4 in the car, in this pickup truck. So if you load up a few bags of cement, the ride will get better. As I said, this car is quite on the heavy duty side, so maybe that is why it rides a bit more on the firm side of things, which I like, because it is a pickup truck. It needs to be a bit more on the heavy duty side, my opinion. Great visibility because I'm higher up than most cars. You can look down at the Proton Saga in front of me. I'm basically, I think I'm slightly taller than the Toyota Alphard that was beside me just now. If you're driving and all at night, the lights are good, everything is visible, no complaints whatsoever in terms of that. Isuzu has been building trucks and also SUVs and pickup trucks. They are more focused in terms of what they have as in their product range. So this is why the Isuzu D-Max is actually, in terms of its design purpose, as a pickup truck, a multi-purpose vehicle for those who need such a vehicle, it is one of the best. So they have put a lot of thought into this car, and you can see it is quite basic and simple in terms of execution and all. Yeah, the amount of plastics and all, but I can't really complain about this car and how it's set up. The balance between toughness and the amount of tech inside the car, and the amount of creature comforts and all, and how it sits, how it rides, how it drives in and around town, and even though taking it off-road and all, it works very well. I mean, this is the thing about when companies are niche or focused in their product lineup. I mean, they're not shooting everywhere, like trying to hit a pigeon, trying to hit an elephant. In terms of off-road performance, took it a bit off-road, and I mean, they did the Borneo Safari in this D-Max, this exact 1.9 liter. What they did was they actually just changed. They did the chassis lift, of course, because this is still a leather frame chassis and body on top. Typical traditional pickup truck in terms of design and manufacture build. So it is very traditional at that point. So they slapped on set of shocks, chassis lift kit, kept the engine standard, changed the tires to off-road tires, and they did the Borneo Safari. So if that's all you need, no need to do engine mods and all, and basically maybe a snorkel, it's good enough for most people to buy, who wants a truck like this. I mean, if you just a small contractor or whatever, or you carry a few bags of cement and all, it's more than capable. Definitely the way it drives, I can tell you, it's more than capable. So it's good. It's a really good truck in many ways. Small little flaws here and there, but can't really complain in terms of that. I'm talking about flaws like what, refinement issues, but it's a turbodiesel engine. It's good enough, and for 1.9 liter, it's super tractable. And if you add in more soundproofing and all, it's like adding more weight and all. Is it efficiency in mind? You're talking about EEV rating and all. Actually, the engine noise also allows you to hear and see whether you have any problems or whatever in terms of how the engine is performing. So you don't need it to be so quiet and all. So all in all, I kind of like it. some off-roading in this D-Max. Final thoughts, as I said, the cabin is all fine except for the footrest. I think it's a bit high. It should be a bit flatter, more relaxed for me, not for you all. I don't know, it could differ. And sorry, aircon is a bit high because it's hot. See, I'm wearing a hat. Anyway, with the four-wheel drive system and all, off-roading, simple off-roading on normal tires, the OEM tires fitted, it's all fine. It could do with a bit more steering lock for a tighter turning circle. It's good enough, but I would like if it had a tad bit more. I don't know how much more. Usually it's all subjective also. I kind of like if it had a bit more. I'm used to the steering wheel. I like its meaty feel, especially off-road. It does have some feel off-road. On-road is a bit numb. Aside from that, it's all fine. I love the single easily lightly sprung tailgate and the additional pull out tray which comes with this premium edition. It does a lot of good. Yes, I give it this car a thumbs up, definitely. Small little flaws, as I said, no car is perfect, no truck is perfect. Driven a lot of trucks, buses, cars, pickup trucks, vans, lorries, whatever you name it, and this is one of the good ones. Utilitarian in terms of its outlook. It does what it's meant to do, which is a very good thing. If not, then what's the point? So it also covers up the basics like going to town, grocery shopping, but you have to remember you don't have a lockable boot and all, just an open pickup truck bed. So invest in one of those small storage boxes that you can fit if you want to. But that being said, a pickup truck has its pros and its cons, and it's actually quite practical in and around town too. So this is Rick Val for Motoring Malaysia. I like this truck for what it is. For the price that is offered, it's actually one of the most affordable pickup trucks with all functions and all, stop start, keyless entry. I wish power windows and all, but I wish it had auto power windows for all. But aside from that, it has everything you want to in modern pickup truck for 2020. So till later, give us a thumbs up if you like this review. Click on the dislike button twice if you don't like this review. But if you think that you can do better, please make your own videos, as YouTube likes more and more content creators to come. And till that statement, I'm signing off right now. See ya! Not bad, huh? The surround sound speakers, 2 for the rear and the roof, so most probably it's a 5.1 style system. Good.